Hello, 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 and welcome to another One Lion of Code. I am One Lion, and we made it to the stream. Holy cow, I cannot believe it. I need to delete that. Um, there is so very much going on lately. We are getting closer to another release, so I will seem a little bit more stressed than usual. I apologize for that, and I'll do my best not to let it go through on the stream, because it ain't your fault. You aren't doing anything. Um, I'm having some really fun times working, understanding the current processes that we are using within our team, and it's it's an interesting experience. It is not something that I am used to still, but that's okay. So let's move this over here. I'm gonna put some stuff on this window over here regarding the stream and all the fun that we've been having on the stream. So how are you? Mojo Forward, you'd indeed were first. And Disco's here. Welcome in. And konnichiwa. All right, so is this desktop set up? Are we displaying the right screen? Can I display the other screen yet? Nope. My OBS is so hosed. Okay, so here is our current project that we've been working on. This is the financial management tracker. We'll be shifting gears soon-ish to work on something else. But first, I want to definitely get this project cleaned up and working nicely. So right now we had this PR that we did on Monday, which was fixing that weird behavior where when you have a WPF application or a Maui application running in Windows and you have a combo box and you expand the combo box and you move the window, the actual expanded combo box portion doesn't go with the window. And we saw behavior in stuff like browsers, you know, the place that uses web technology by default to display content. The behavior there, sorry, I just quickly ate a ice cream meal bar thing, and now the peanuts are trying to choke me. Make them stop. Make them stop. Anyway, so we saw that the default behavior of combo boxes in when they're not custom combo boxes in browsers is to collapse them when you start dragging. So if we added a random select element to here, ignore that, it's not formatting pretty. And then we expand it and then we try dragging the window. Then the combo box collapses and keeps the focus and everything. So you're able to use your keyboard to re-expand the box after moving the window. And so we replicated that behavior in our app when you run it as a WPF app proof. Set this as our startup, F5. And so what we're going to do today then, after I example this, is we're going to pick another issue that we have in our repo and fix it at the end. So that's the behavior that we are doing where the combo box collapses when you move the window, like a magic. And you can see here how many times it's calling handle collapse. And so I put a debounce on it so that it only calls it if you stay still for the horror, but it doesn't lose focus. So it behaves exactly the way a browser would behave as far as collapsing the combo box. Endel, you are taking in considerations that aren't really applicable to the situations that I am doing this for. And it will never be that case. Ever. Ever. Otherwise. But yeah, that's it. I am stressed. How are you? It's fun hanging out on your stream. Really love hanging out on your stream when I can just lurk. And then, of course, say a couple things every now and then. I still like the one that I still want to figure out is when we use window Chrome so that we can customize the title bar and stuff, or maybe finding another way to customize the title bar still. But when we use window Chrome, losing the resize area, I would love to get that figured out. We're still struggling with that in the work product. And I know that we're going to have some bug reports when it's put out in production. But as of right now, the customizable title bar is more important than losing the resize area. So it's still resizable. We didn't lose functionality to be able to resize the window. It's just you have to pretty much be pixel perfect when you're trying to get the resize handle to show up on the left, bottom, or right side. So we'll come up with some creative solution. I'm hoping to come up with a different way to customize the title bar in Windows 10 and before. Actually, we only need to support Windows 10 and after, but Windows 10 is the issue. In Windows 11, it's just as easy as calling into the title bar API. But we don't have that in Windows 10. So anyway, it would be nice to be able to do some research for that maybe during the stream because it's the easiest time for me to get research in. Have you considered covering your eyes, ears, and eyes and going, nah, 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 I don't know how to do nah, 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 nah. Can't hear you. There's a song that goes, no, not listening. That's what that kind of reminds me of. But no, I have not. I have not. But it's only Windows 10. It's not Windows 7, it's not Vista, it's not XP, just Windows 10 and after. Okay, so with that in mind, let's hop over to, you know what we should do today? Because Thindle said that his PR will not break our build, it'll just lock down main. But we shouldn't turn the gate on until our tests pass. We should go ahead and review this PR. Cool. And then merge it. So, Thindle, does this thing... Yeah, you did. Yeah. So I started late because I was still in a meeting and I was thinking that the way that my project manager was talking is he wanted to go over one of the PRs because we have two separate repositories and one repository depends on the other repository. So we have all of our shared packages in our library and stuff. And that needs to be built as we're doing the CI, the CD, the CI pipeline, as we're doing the build pipeline for the main application itself. And so if we make changes in this that affect the main application, because we're not using versioned NuGet packages, instead it is going to the repo for our shared packages, grabbing main, building main, and then referencing the output in the application's build. So because we're doing that, if we make changes in that shared packages project, repo. Um, and that break, the main app, unless you take those changes at the same time as the main app, but you have to take these first and then these. Anyway, we're trying to get them both approved at the same time. The problem is that we have to merge this shared packages one and then have a CI build pass with the main application. And that takes about an hour to build because it does a signing process for the not only does it build the application, but it creates the installer files and it creates three different installer types: a setup.exe, an MSI, and an APPX for the Windows Store. And each of those needs to be signed. And then all of the all of the DLLs need to be signed. um, yeah, it takes a solid 5 minutes because of Maui, which is fine. It's totally okay. I understand the Maui build is just annoying. So I'm probably just going to remove the Maui project until we are ready to start um, doing the cross platform stuff. But right now, I really am just focused on getting this in a web platform. And we have the WPF project to be our Windows version, which is going to be close enough to the cross platform one. Okay, so let's review this. Okay. We get ourselves a new YAML file. And again, I know very little about YAML. What I can guess just from what I've seen of it before, and I think I've heard this said before, is it's pretty much JSON but without curly braces and commas and stuff. So, yeah, it's based on tabbing. Okay, and then whatever dashes are as well. Flux, konnichiwa. To put YAML and JSON in the same thing. JSON is so nice and easy. YAML, on the other hand. Okay, so this thing, like I can visualize what this would look like in an Azure DevOps pipeline that you create using the UI, where we get an entire CI build that is called .NET package. And then it is triggered when we push. Does this know that it's only supposed to be triggered when we push to main? Or is this going to be triggered on every single commit? Okay, so as long as we have the YAML file, we can just say run this YAML file whenever we tell you to. And so our gate will be on commit to master, or on PR to master. Thank you. Okay, and then what it's supposed to do is here is a step that is going to be called build. Run it on Windows 2022. And then here's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to check out. I don't really know what checkout at v3 means, but my assumption is that it does some kind of checkout master. I don't know. It's the version of the command. Okay. What is going on, Big Amy? Hello and welcome in. Okay, so it's already doing the checkout of the branch somewhere else. Yeah. And then we're just using some string that says we're going to set up .NET Core SDK, and then we use the .NET version from whatever Matrix is. So you get Matrix for free, it looks like. And Matrix is probably the highest .NET version in your project. I don't know. Doesn't matter. And then we also tell it to use setup at v3. So these GitHub actions are probably things that you could pick from a. Oh, it's below. So these GitHub actions are things that you could probably pick from a list of actions if you were creating this in GitHub. So like if you were in this actions tab and you're creating a new action, then there are certain things that these actions slash checkout, for example, is one of the ones that you would be able to see in here and know what it does. And then we're going to use .NET 7 and above, or just .NET 7, 7. Whatever latest is. Install Maui workloads because Maui. So I'd be able to remove this or at least disable it when I remove the Maui project, if we end up doing that, depending on how long it really does take for us to do a PR. And then we would also need to remove the Maui build target somewhere, he said. But yeah, and then dependencies, and then do .NET restore. Okay, so these are pretty much just like the node names or console logs that say this is what we're doing, install dependencies, and now this is how we're doing it. So if I were to look at this, then I would have a thing that I could click on that's called install dependencies. I click on it, I get a console that shows the output of .NET Restore, and then do a build using release. Publish ready to run is false, publish trimmed, run ahead of time compilation. That's cool. One thing I would be interested in, or create a new build release dash without Maui. That's cool. Yeah, one thing I'd be interested in is if there would be a way to set the run ahead of time compilation flag using a variable that we set in our workflow, in our actual workflow. And there is. So we'll do that eventually. I don't need to do that now, but that'd be a cool thing for me to learn more about this process. And that's the reason that I'm reading through this, so that I can at least see it. Not that I'm going to understand everything that I'm seeing, but the more that I encounter it and actually look at what it's doing, or at least how it's written, the more I'll be familiar with it. And then when I actually am understanding it or it's explained to me, it'll catch on eventually. At least that's the hope. And then run the tests. Run the tests. How about if I just, disable this step so that we can still have our check-in? But yes, okay, so changes reviewed. Thanks you so much for the workflow. Approved. Now, when I approve your PR, do you actually have the ability to merge it yourself? Or do I still have to merge it? I'm really curious about that. I don't think so. It's a setting, says Deflux. Yeah, because I'm used to my work product because I'm on a team and uh, we both, since we both have access to the repository, me and whoever I asked to review it, once the review is done and it passes all of the build CI checks, then either I or the person that reviewed it could. So the person that submits the PR or the person that reviewed it could merge. But that's cool. I just wanted to know because, like, I guess in this case, I would want to be the one to merge them so that I can merge them in the right order, if there is an order that I'm expecting to merge them in. But yay, I did my first maintainer PR review and acceptance. Very first one. Thank you, Thindle. You are amazing. And if you don't know Thindle, if you haven't already heard of him, which I'm sure you have, um, definitely give him a follow. He's an amazing streamer. He's doing .NET development as well, working with legacy technologies, .NET framework stuff, as well as bringing it over to modern technologies, which is my favorite thing to do, is modernizing things, making it cool, using latest technology in the way it's intended to be used. So at the moment, he's using EF Core with the .NET Framework project, for example, um, which is fun. It's cool. You can do it. You can. And he's using what did you call it? Ninject, Ninject, to do the dependency injection since you don't get that for free. You can do it up to 3.0. That's nice. With .NET Framework projects will be the end of my statement. Coding. Deflex is saying if you're curious, it's on the settings tabs under branches and you can put in branch protection rules. Yeah, and so that's what we're gonna do. What I want to do is protect main branch and tell it to not allow commits directly to it. Okay, we'll be here, Big Amy. Instead, it will need to go through that workflow and pass the tests through a PR, is what I mean. It needs to have a PR to main in order to make it into main. Because I don't remember how long ago it was. It was 2 weeks ago, I think. It was 8 months ago. It was 2 weeks ago, I think, that I did a commit directly to main that undid a lot of changes. And I was like, I shouldn't be able to commit directly. I thought that I made a branch for this thing, not committing directly to main, and I was all over the place. It was bad. Hello, Duka Soft. Konnichiwa. And it's right here. So require approvals. The one that I really want is just don't allow. Oh, require pull request before merging and then require approval. Yes. Okay. So for us, we're going to do require pull request before committing, definitely. And Deflex said it's in the settings tab under branches. And we're going to add a rule. Is it? Can we just edit this one? No. Okay. We're going to add a rule that says require pull requests, but we don't need approvals for the moment because solo developer, kind of hard to approval. I take it that this still means that if someone else forks my project and then does a PR to it, that will still need my approval. Oh, it looks like I already had one for main, which is there. Require. Did that get added with your change, Thindle, somehow? Because otherwise, how was I able to commit directly to what? Your admin, you can override it. That's not good. I want it for myself. Dukasoft. Thank you so much for the information, Deflux. That is really helpful. Do not allow bypassing the above settings. Yes. Oops, wrong one. Try again. Well, just give me this one. I have so many 13, 16 character passwords that I kind of forget which one goes where. Look under status checks too. The action selection is there. Okay. Status. Is that a setting on the left or is that in? Here it is. Okay. Require branch to be up to date before merging. But where is the actual place where I select which status checks to perform? Go to the action itself. Okay, so we don't know. So we'd have to definitely look it up to get it done correctly. That's fine though. That's fine. We'll figure it out for our next issue when we're going to do our PR for it. I mean, I do kind of want to do it now, I guess. It'd be really nice to know. Net package is going to be the name of it. And how do I set settings for create a status badge? Branch protection rule. A missed main. Okay, so is this a branch protection rule or is this something else? Workflow dispatch, workflow run. It'd be a workflow run. I don't know what these are supposed to mean. Welcome back. Unless you're telling me to go back. Anyway, it doesn't matter because we can always update it. So let's head on over to our README. Status is back. Got it. Although I won't be able to update the README directly in main. But I can propose the changes. Welcome back, status. No, so like if you have candidate releases, that would be another one that you might want to have a different workflow running on. Or if you have your dev branch, like it depends. Like if you're using Gitflow, the way that I understand it is you have one dev branch that is essentially the trunk that everyone works off of. And then once all of that release cycles changes are made and merged into that dev branch. So every time they merge into that dev branch, it runs the workflow for making sure that it builds, making sure that the tests pass, etc. Then they move that into a candidate release. I'm not, no. I'm just saying this is an example of when you might have more than one branch that has its own workflow. Like I still don't fully understand the whole picture of it. I've only seen the diagram for it. But yeah, we have I don't like our approach that we're using at work, which is we have one main branch, which I think they have finally or maybe they already had this in place, but I think that they create after we do a release, they create a branch for that release. And then pretty much lock it down and just say if we ever need to revert, then here's here's the branch that we released. But we only have that one main, so all of our dev work will be done in a separate branch based off of work items that were assigned from Azure DevOps. Then those, once we finish with our dev work for that one item, we merge it into main directly. But it's not really a feature branch. Exactly, and that's what that's the approach that I would want Deflux. So Deflux says our dev branch is the code that's running in QA. Our main branch is the one that's running in QA, and also the one that will be our release candidate. And also after we release, that's the one that gets forked or branched into the separate 1.x 2.x branch. Yeah, that'd be so nice. Deflux. I mean, are you annoyed by this process? Because that sounds like something that I would love. Um, One of the complaints from uh, one of my fellow developers was that he doesn't want this mini branching tree. It should be simple, one branch, one fix, and then the main branch. I'm like, sure. Have a couple happy clickers on the team that just push randomly to production, crashing and blaming others. So right now, our build pipeline is just broken. And we have another developer that is working on improving the application, but he's just working on things that he feels needs to be improved on. And sometimes that causes extra bugs, as opposed to only working on the bugs that are assigned to him by the project manager. And it's like I understand that there are all of these long-standing things that you feel like we're never going to have time to get to, and you're also trying to prevent um, any future bugs by cleaning up these processes and making it faster and better. However, with being this like our code lockdown is going to be this Friday. With being this close to release, it's like how how are we still making massive structural changes to the code just to make it better when we should be fixing the remaining bugs, implementing the features, and making sure that they are working as good as they can before the release. I just don't get that. Hey, me, review. Can I preview this? Can I see what this looks like? No. What you have to do is go to code, change branch, and then see what it looks like. Awesome. What? Whoa. Dukasoft says, "What do you do if you need to fix a critical error in production? Just curious. Do you create a branch for that?" So, what I understand should be done is we create a hotfix branch off of the most recent release with only the bug fix, and then we merge that into the release and merge it into main after it's all been yeah, after it's all been tested. Then we merge it into main. What we do is we fix the current version of main. That's a number I'm not familiar with. And then we create a new release as quickly as possible with whatever changes we currently made. And it's like, what? What? And that actually did happen. So we released 2.0, and there were some critical issues that came up in 2.0 that were brought up while we were making the new feature requests and the fixes to the things that were just hacked together because rush job. Um, and they're like, well, these are critical issues that need to be addressed as soon as possible. Here's a security one that needs to be fixed within 30 days. And then here are some other app doesn't even work on in certain circumstances, and that's not acceptable. So let's fix those. And we shipped 2.1 with some of the features that were slated for 2.1 that we were supposed to take 60 days to do. And we did that in like 15 days. It's like, oh my goodness, are you serious? Are we serious? Are we doing this? All right, anyway, create the pull request. So Deflex says, to do Kasaf's question, for us, we do a patch branch and merge it into both main and dev. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Thindle says, my little line here eats Parmesan. I love Parmesan. But Parmesan what? Just Parmesan by itself? Because I do. There are these Parmesan crisps that are really tasty. A little flake. So the other thing that we get are Caesar salad kits. Oh, they're so good. They're so good. Oh, I love your cat. Um, some checks haven't completed yet. That's because it's going to take 5 minutes to do the Maui stuff. Right. It's actually going to fail because I needed to tell it to not do the tests because it's going to fail. I actually don't know how to look at the workflow build process directly. You go to actions apparently, add workflow. Okay. I know how to do it in Azure DevOps because I'm in that all the time. Yeah, eventually we'll rename it. But yeah, that definitely worked. And then click the build. Yeah, so it's still working on that. It's going to fail this. So how do I edit the workflow so that I can disable test? Go to the .workflows folder. So I would need to edit the YAML, right? There's no UI way to do it. No, UI is for weebs. Since I'm renaming this anyway, we're going to call it no UI. It sounded like you were telling me no UI. Okay, so hash is the comment. So we want to hash a hash. Does it need to be at the very beginning of the line? Like this, so I don't break things. I'm going to do that just so that I don't have to worry about remembering how many indents. Okay, so wherever you do the hash is where it starts commenting from. UI is for losers and people whose developers have actually finished a product. Like, if you are really well versed already at using console or just text or whatever, and you're really good at it, awesome. Good for you. But I'm really skilled at manipulating Visual Studio with both keyboard and mouse and understanding UI stuff better. So don't criticize me in a negative way for choosing to go that route. It doesn't mean that I'm worse or better than anyone at all. Anyway, hey, look, it's the marketplace thing that I was talking about where you can find what actions can go where. Also, oh, yes. So Thindle was like, me, YAML syntax is so easy. Your YAML freaking tags and stuff isn't. YAML freaking tags? What are YAML freaking tags? Um, Dugasoft says, also, everyone, why is my YAML not working? Like, we have so many issues with our pipeline currently. And yeah. Deflex says, Setalix is working on his first Blazor website. So cool to hear. That is awesome. I hope he enjoys it. And it's setalixcreative.com. Check it out. Yeah, yeah. I mean, all of them are like Azure DevOps pipelines were, I believe, for a really long time YAML. It's just you also had the UI way of building up your pipeline, which would translate into YAML. Fancy. Blazor loader, which you get out of the box. And you get these nice little spinny cards when you mouse over. You have an About Me link. Very nicely presented. This is really like just a straightforward, clean approach. I love. I love. I love. Yeah. And then this whole animation thing for that. Like it's not always appropriate, but for what he's using the site for currently, it's absolutely appropriate. Not sure I know they've coexisted forever. Oh, I know they've coexisted forever. Yeah. What is bloater? Sounds like Blazor loader. Oh, yeah, probably the Blazor loader that I was talking about. So you get this thingy for free with new Blazor apps now. And of course, you can just copy pasta into another the thing. Okay, we were in the middle of making a change to the this so that it doesn't fail. um, and then we kind of so because I want to commit a change to the GitHub action workflow, I'm gonna have to violate the thing. I'm gonna have to violate it good, and um, tell it that I can override the protection. I should have left it off until we did this step. I wasn't thinking. Branches. Want to hear something? Something. You did it. I'm opening today's fourth can of Red Bull. That does not sound tasty to me. I don't like the flavor of Red Bull. Oops. Does that take effect immediately? Can I commit to main now? No. Dang it. I mean, I didn't do much. Oh, I didn't even rename this thing yet. So let's just refresh. Let's rename. What were we going to rename this to? This is I don't know. What do people normally name their pipelines? Build pipeline? I usually say what Azure Resources is going to do. Well, I don't know what Azure Resources is going to do. It's going to do the build pipeline, I guess. Like in this case, it's GitHub, but I know what you mean. PR integration pipeline? Is that too many words? PR gated pipeline? Do the thing. Just Dukasoft, you always got the best names. Oh man. Anyway, are we happy with this? We're happy with this. Um, I think 5 minutes was too much. Although I need to actually remove Maui from the project, otherwise this is gonna break. So never mind. Never mind. Oh, right. Do all the things. That's the name of a step. Angela Bassett did the thing. I don't think I know the reference. I'm sure it's a reference, but I don't know what it is. Rename workflow and skip tests for now. Oscar, oh, not Oscars. Grammys? Are Grammys still TV and movies? Or is that music? I don't know anything about award shows. Tonys? That means we should go back over to our current PR, which should have failed by now, or should still be doing a check. Oh, tests. It just made it to tests. That's funny. And there it goes. But yes, thank you, Thindle, for helping me get some familiarity with YAML and GitHub Actions. I really appreciate it. And I mean that sincerely. And Deflex for all of the responses that you've been given to. You've ramped up all of your skills, man. Hello, Spain. Hello from the US. How many times have you heard that? How are you doing? You know, you should bulk order energy drinks. And on stream, you can make it a 1000k redeem to chug a can. You know, if you're okay with having a heart attack on stream. Let's go. I didn't hear it yet. Or at all. Is there a reason I didn't hear that? Currently trying to figure out how to use React with ASP.NET. So I've heard that it's possible. Are you using React for front end only? And then ASP.NET for an API? Or are you like mixing React code into your actual ASP.NET web application? Inquiring minds want to know. And Mojo says it's possible. I did the research last month. I kind of remember you talking about that. Okay, so obviously our test this has failed, and that means that once this thing refreshes with the build progress, do I have to refresh the page? Then all checks failed, which means that we normally wouldn't be able to merge the request since I put in there that it must pass. But since I believe I still have the setting for being able to override these rules. Oh, I didn't actually turn on the this anyway. Require status checks to pass before merging. require branches to be up to date before merging. Definitely that. That's weird. Why isn't the PR workflow in here? Oh, this is just showing us the status. Okay. So Deflix is saying to Spain, um, first Deflux said, it's also possible to use Blazor for your front and back end. I'm doing the research 24/7. Heck yeah. I love Blazor. Ideally, I want to have an API written in C Sharp and React front end. Yeah, so absolutely. There should be zero issues. Well, take that with a grain of salt. There should be no conflicts between just using React as your front end and an API. Like your API can be whatever you want, and your front end can be whatever you want as long as it knows how to send requests and receive requests. So, as far as that's concerned, the only thing that you would, if you don't have the knowledge of this already, is how to create a .NET API application, which is just file new project API. And you can do it with either minimal API or with API controllers. Let's go back to to the PR. And we want to manually trigger. Oh, that's what I need to learn. How do I manually trigger an action for the current PR? I know how to rerun. Maybe I don't. I rerun. If I rerun the job, will it use the latest YAML? Or will I have to create a new run? Whoa. Okay, you think I should do it from the PR? How? How do I rerun a... Like, the only way that I would know how to do it is... Yeah, rerunning the job. But I don't know how to manually trigger a job. But otherwise, I would do another commit, which would trigger the PR. Yeah, let's just try rerunning this one, see what happens. And then this says workflow file is not the renamed one. So I'm going to cancel because it's still going to fail. Yeah, how do I manually run a status check? Yeah, that's what I asked you. I asked you that. Then okay, let me catch up on the other chats real quick because Spain is still talking about this thing. So from up here, Deflex said, "Yeah, sure, that's very doable. Just since curiosity, did you murder a cat or something? Have you looked at Blazor before?" What? What? What are you even saying, Deflux? So Nintendo was saying not hard. Just put all the React stuff under www root and create API endpoints. www root will be served as static files. It's already running the pipeline on the PR, and that counts as a status check. So if you just have require status check, you're golden. Just make sure that it's not building all the time. Look at the trigger. And then, are you familiar with SSE? No. I don't know what SSE stands for. Senior software engineer. I'm trying to set that up with API and React. Isn't that a PHP thing? Thindle says, I think you should do it from the PR to me. And I think it ran again on the main branch. Remove the trigger from the script. Details. Okay, so in you're being very confusing right now, Thindle. It's not helpful. So in here, on push is not correct. Server sent events. I mean, I can understand the concept of it. Like if you had, for example, a gRPC or a Signal R connection to your server, and your application just listened for messages sent by it, and then did something based off of those receiving those events, then yeah, that's what I would assume that means, but I'm not 100% sure. Then Deflux says, if you're trying to set up two-way communication between .NET, I would recommend Signal R, but I'm not familiar with SSE from a good. It looks like some Ajax thing from days gone by. Yeah, sounds like WebSockets. WebSockets are easy to use via Signal R on .NET. Not sure what the React site is like though. Me either. So the way that Signal R would normally work in a .NET application is you typically have a server that has your Signal R hub, the place that everyone says, I'm listening to you. If you have a message for me, then send it to me. And then the Signal R hub will take events from your server side application. It can even listen for stuff that comes in from the client and then broadcast it out to other people. So, for example, if everyone is looking at a page with a whole bunch of stuff in a table and one person edits the value, then everyone that currently has that table open and is listening for messages can have updated information directly. So, for example, when you're in a PR here and the status finishes, whatever check you have here finishes running on the server or wherever, it broadcasts a message that says, everyone that's listening, the status for this particular PR status run has changed to this. And then the UI says, okay, I received a message that says this status is now this, so I will display it. Okay, so the things that I was trying to figure out are, how do I constrain a GitHub action to only run on main PR, main branch PR? You can put if conditions in there. If GitHub ref equals ref heads master main, on push branches, on push master. Okay, so this looks like how we constrain it to only run on master. And Deflex is asking Thindle, do you know if it's possible to run like command line things inside a YAML on the target endpoint? I'm trying to install an ODBC connection. I can say yes for Azure DevOps because we run a lot of commandlets. Darn. I darn. I think definitively maybe. Um, yeah. Okay. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as is because I'm curious to know when it actually does run with the configuration that it currently has. The thing that I want to know is how do I manually run this for this build? Because in Azure DevOps, you go into your pipelines, you click on New Run, and then you specify the branch that you want it to run on. And here, if I tried to rerun this, then it reruns with the same YAML, but I want it to run. I want it to run with the new YAML. It takes me to that page. So it's like, do I go into actions, the pipeline, and I'm looking for a new or a run or a. There. Thanks, Tara. When a workflow is configured to run on the workflow dispatch event, you can run the workflow using the Actions tab in GitHub. To run a workflow manually, the workflow must be configured on workflow dispatch. To trigger the workflow dispatch, you must be in the default branch. Okay, running a workflow. So question number one is how do I get it into the workflow dispatch? But anyway, go to Actions, click on the workflow, run workflow. That's what I'm looking for. So the question is, how do I get it into the workflow dispatch? You give me a piece of it, but not the whole thing. How do I set a GitHub workflow as workflow dispatch? On workflow dispatch. Does that allow me to do? Not does that allow me. Can I have multiple ons? So many questions. So if I do on, can I have build, code, GitHub workflows, or push, whatever. Can I do on, push, and Workflow dispatch. Is this valid? GitHub action workflow multiple on multiple events. I saw that as a suggestion. Multiple events is an array. Oh, so this is an array. Got it. It's not just fancy syntax for push. I thought that that was specific to push. We're learning. I'm not. Okay, so on push and workflow dispatch, which, dang it. I know. I just need to leave this thing off until we get a successful build. Requires, oh, it is off. Okay, so that should be in main, which means if we go to actions now and we go to the pipeline, we should have a run workflow on the branch. For the README. Workflow does not exist or does not have a workflow trigger on this branch. Right. Because I need it to run. So I need to update the YAML on that branch in order for me to be able to run the workflow on that branch. Got it. But we did see that I can now manually trigger the workflow. So let's go to this branch, go to the YAML, do the same change. Oh, I could have done that too. I could have just edited this YAML file to remove tests and do the that. Make this hard so you'll look smart. Task completed. Thank you. That's what it feels like. It's exactly what it feels like. But that's okay. I don't mind struggling as long as we end up at the correct answer. Are you singing to us, Mojo? Or did you type that in our chat and you meant to type that in someone else's chat? I'm not going to be able to eat lunch today unless I steal a few minutes for myself. Yeah, the RTS message. Oh. The one for Irish John's game. Oh my goodness, I'm so slow. I apologize for any inconvenience it may have caused you. However, okay, so anyway, since we did another commit to the branch, it's going to trigger the pipeline to run. So that's good. So let's just sit here and watch it. We saw that it was going to take about 10 minutes. Is that how long the other one took to fail? And it's because of Maui. Thank you, Maui. I really just need to get rid of it for now. That's not where I'm trying to go. Yeah, I mean, if I'm having a stroke, it's fine. And then Dukasoft posted it again. So yes, we definitely have that. Bit Gamey is working on a game. He's working on two games actually. One of them is for Science Streams for I think it's a competition that Science is having where you can do whatever creative artistic thing with one of his stream characters. Awesome. And there is a shout out for Big Gamey. If you ever see him streaming, he is working in Unity, which also means C Sharp. And yeah. But he's working on a game where you are an ant and or I don't know how far you've gotten in that because I haven't been able to fully pay attention lately. But you're walking around in a yard and you're collecting things and you're bringing them back to your home, trying not to get stepped on by people. And he's gone so far as pretty much to make sure that you don't actually get hurt. You just kind of get a scolding that says you're going to get stepped on if you get too close. Don't do that. I don't know what it says. But anyway, fun times. And then the other game that he is working on is I Am a Dog, in the spirit of other I Am a type games. And he's just really cool. He has a whole bunch of interactive things that you can do on his stream. Unlike me. The interactive things that you can do on this stream are engage with me to talk about software type stuff. I was trying to go to actions. Why haven't you loaded actions? And I guess while we're waiting for this, we can like, why is that taking so long? He's working on being a baby all the time. Science and Dukasoft and one other person that I can't think of are constantly spamming his Snapchat filter that turns him into a baby. And he doesn't have a cooldown on it, nor does it sound like he wants to put one on it either. Why are you having trouble loading? Just go to the actions tab, man. And that was a follow that's not showing up in my activity feed. Why isn't it showing up in my activity feed? Did we answer all of your questions, Spain, though? I kind of got sidetrailed. So server sent events. An example is how ChatGPT sends their message instead of making you wait on the request. It sends data in chunks through server sent events. Yeah. So it does kind of sound like uh, WebSockets, but you did respond to Deflux's or Thindle's comment on WebSockets. Down here, no WebSockets are bidirectional, SSEs are monodirectional. Yeah, so I mean the same can still be done using Signal R. But yeah. Tyron came in and then immediately helped, which was awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. Cool. So I didn't actually miss that much. So this one took 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Oh my goodness. I love how like oh, I was gonna say like right when I get here is when it completes, but it didn't complete. It's still getting all the things. I am definitely gonna remove the Maui project. Because again, we're not testing in it, we're not debugging, we're not developing directly in the Maui project. So there's really no point in having it be an active project. So let's go ahead and do that. Remove Maui project for now. I was going to put a comma. So I am going to add a new solution folder to make this easier called, oh, wait. We don't need to manually add the solution folder. We just add an existing file. File. Why isn't he helping? Why isn't he working with me? In source in all the way up here, get workflows. Am I? You got it. Dang it. Back to main. Stash. Not stash. I could have just discarded that. I didn't pull latest. Why didn't remind me? Take a soft. I don't think I need workflows. Seems like a headache. Okay, back to remove Maui project. Um, we'll merge main into it before we finish our PR because it's also required. Um, wait, I need to get. You know what? Like, I know that there's a command line way to update from master, but I use UI, so I use GitHub Desktop to do it. But since I didn't actually make any changes, I'm just going to rebranch main into same branch, remove Maui project. Okay, so now what I was trying to do was add a reference to GitHub. Where is it? I'm so blind. Oh, it's GitHub workflows YAML file. That way, I have it in my project so that I can edit it in Visual Studio. And so what we're going to do is write a comment that says removed while not actively working on Maui. Okay, so that gets rid of those. Zero tabs are not allowed as indentations. So yeah, I think it is the case. Oh, that's confusing. I have no idea why that gave us an error. But anyway, so we're updating that, and then I am just going to remove this from the build configurations. Both debug, well, just release. Just release. Maui, Maui, Maui. Don't you build, don't you deploy. Don't do the thing and release. Okay, so that should be enough so that the PR will go faster. The workflow will go faster for PRs because it won't need to do all the Maui resource getting and building. Removed the Maui project from release build. The end. You'll know why. Commit and push. Make me a PR. Bam, you're a PR. Both two open. This looks like it's almost done because I kind of remember build taking 5 minutes as well. But that means that it should take only 1.5 minutes plus maybe another minute for the build. Oh, plus another 1.5, so 4 to 5 minutes total. So this should use the YAML from this pipeline and prove to me that there is no MAUI check and there are no tests and it should run faster. But I am going to cancel it because we're going to need to update this branch to main. Did it just run again? No. Corn fusing. And it's just weird that I have to refresh the page in order for it to give me the status. I don't have to do that on my work machine. It's so weird. Switch out the bottles. Switch out the bottles. Switch out the bottles for me. Drink water. Drinking water. Okay. This looks like it built successfully. Therefore, our PR that adds the workflow badge to our README can now be merged, which we reviewed. All it did was why are there? Oh, we updated the YAML file to allow us to manually run it and remove the testices. I didn't mean to push that. Boop. Oh, and then we added the markdown for showing the badge. Which is renamed currently. Oh no. Um, I think we need to update the README. Is there an inlay and edit file? Because it's now called PR integration pipeline. Dated pipeline workflow maybe. I keep wanting to call it a pipeline. I mean, it kind of is a pipeline. So we have to wait for that build. And this one failed. Wait, this one was canceled. Pipeflow. That's a better name. Again with the good namings. Can I just have you on my, like, set you on my desk as a little, like this guy who's sitting in his own cubicle behind me? Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you. He has a CRT. Oh no. I just ripped the bottom of my pants. Yeah, let me see if I can show you a picture of them. They want a picture of what? I know they didn't ask for one. Um, we'll do it like this. There. All of my microfiber cloths. Okay. The email. The email. Dear Strongbot. Yes, Bob. My desk looks so dirty. Oh my goodness. You need a dusting. Even has an inbox. I'd be like, Dugasoft, I need the name for a variable. Glasses cleaner. Did I give you long enough to run action? I want to install a little Raspberry and tiny display and make it an actual working PC. That would be awesome. Looks like I could erase all of my mistakes in one go. What? Wait. Oh yeah, this one is. Oh, I forgot that this one is still doing the Maui, so that's gonna take a while. Okay, so we have that branch done. Um, this is starting to look more like my whoa, stop saying my work product. Why are you saying you have changes to solution? Why didn't that change go with my most recent change? This is me removing the Maui project from the build, from release. Did I not save before committing? Now actually saving the change to remove Maui from release build deploy. I don't want to commit that yet. Wait, that's because we're in main now. Bring changes. There's a conflict. What is the conflict? There are no changes. The conflict is that change did go with. What? I'm so confused. Why are you doing this to me? Project solution, and here it is. We're removing the Maui project from release. Got it. Next build name. Are we there yet? Absolutely. For naming variables, we just need to train an AI bot on Duca material and then release it as Duca GPT. That would be awesome. That'd be awesome. Okay, we're gonna pick up another bug, another issue. So I'm liking the first one because it looks fairly easy. Filter transaction history based on account. That seems pretty easy too. And then edit transaction functionality is going to be a fun one. Duca Copilot. Yes. Or just Duca Pilot. Okay, we're going to set this one as active. And we'll create a branch for number 17. Fix table header overlap. All right. Any random weird changes coming with me? No? Good. Don't be weird. New branch. 17. Fix table header overlap. Okay. Go us. So what is this table overlap mess that you're talking about? Well, .NET Watch, .NET Stare, according to Captain Commerce. Speaking of Captain Commerce, if you don't know Captain Commerce, you should definitely check him out. He usually streams on Mondays and Fridays and some Saturdays. And he is also a .NET developer working with doing .NET stuff. I don't know what he's been doing lately. I haven't been able to watch his stream. I'm always there in spirit. I log in, have it running with sound, of course, so he can get the credit. However, I am usually elsewhere since it's so late in the evening for me. Okay, so here is the issue that we are going to address and fix. This table here has a header that has a background. And when I scroll, you notice that everything is going behind this row of tabs, except for the table itself. So it's not really the table header. I really should have called it the table, but I mean, the issue that I saw was the table header was overlapping, and that's what I called it. But as I'm doing investigation, I'm seeing that it's the entire table. If I gave this table a background, then we'll see that that's also covering up. So it's the entire table. And I'm honestly not sure why that would be the case, because this thing is set to z index 2, I think. Where? Oh, I was like, why can't I just main content here. Header is set to, oh, it doesn't have a z index. Wait, really? Okay, so the answer should be, if I give this thing a z index of 1, then it will be on top of my table. Done. Okay. So our top row header, top bar header, no, not top bar header, just header inside of data entry page will have a z index of 1. And yes, I do go back and forth between whether I say z or z. Inconsistently at that. I clicked on shared components. Let's try you, data entry page, sass. Don't give me no sass and keep your I think it's solid two of my variables are Duca inspired. We have CSS classes that are Duca inspired. We have variable names that are Duca inspired. We have entire functions that are Duca inspired. I think I even have an entire project that's Duca inspired. Everywhere says Duca Soft. Yeah, you are. In the best way possible. Okay, so I think we just fixed an issue. So I am going to just verify by Control F5. I scroll and we can see that the table is underneath the tabs. Same thing for, oh yeah, the transaction history was another place where the table was overlapping the tabs. And now we can see that it is actually going behind. And finally, in transfers, there are no tables, but the transaction history table is not overlapping. So I would call that a fix. Yeah, Ducasoft is a very, very, very inspirational. Very inspirational. Okay, how are we doing on these builds? Oh, running. My goodness. Come on. A tip if you've got a moment. I do, because we're waiting on a build. There is a Milton, how do you pronounce his last name? Keynes? 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 Um, meetup that Thindle just posted, and it is about Open API and how we're doing it wrong. Which is it's like a hot title for just about everything lately. Whatever the topic is, you're doing it wrong. And for some reason that gets people to click on it, whereas it just turns me off. But anyway, here is the discussion about the talk, or the description about the talk. It's more like click anti-bait. I don't know if the word how to phrase that. For me, that is. So I don't know, Spain, this might be something that you would be interested in. Except that this is not doing something like the SSE that you were talking about. Maybe it is, but really, there should be ways for you to do. If you're still around, of course. If not, I'm just talking to whoever feels like listening. There should be ways for you to be able to do server to client communication where the client is just waiting for messages from the server and not allow the client to server, except via API requests, like HTTP requests or whatever. But yeah, that's today in like 15 minutes. So if you're interested in hearing about this topic, it's going to start in 15 minutes. Except that it says today in 15 minutes and today in an hour and in 2 hours. Okay. 12:30, yeah. So it's saying both 12:30 and 2:30 my time. Oh, it takes 2 hours. Then this thing should say 2 or through or anyway, there you go. You have a thing that you can go to. And look, all checks have passed. So let us, yeah, this, I'm not understanding the, oh, yes I am. Okay, so we are reviewing, which is good that we reviewed last time because I caught the name change thing. Unchanged files with check annotations. Okay, I'm okay with that. So we reviewed both now. I will approve, even though I can't approve because we're not actually approving anything, but I would normally approve. And we're going to merge. Congratulations. Delete that branch, no longer needed. Does that actually run the action again when we merge? It does. And now it's building main. I was thinking that that was the case, and I do want that. So I want the branch that is trying to get PR'd into main. Yeah, I still have the on push. So I'm going to want to update that to be on PR to main, on push for any, or for master, for main. Yeah, on PR to main, on, yeah, I don't know how to do that. I can't even think through it right now. But that being the case, we should be able to go to, yeah, I can definitely add a branch filter, but the logic that I want is if you're creating a PR to main, then I want it to build on the branch you're doing the PR from. Oh, and the person that followed 28 minutes ago was get push, get paid. That's awesome. I love it. It was appropriate. Okay, so now I want to run the pipeline, install Maui workloads on this branch. Let's make sure that this is the one that has the other changes in it too. Name change, push and dispatch, and then the commented out tests. So that's good. And then the changes so that the Maui project doesn't try to build on release. The other thing that I need for this was to have it update from master. So apparently I don't need to update from master, even though I have that. I keep saying master, update from main, even though we have that marked. So anyway, let's just get this thing to run for this branch. Oh, excuse me. No, pipeline. Yeah, I did, didn't I? Like, isn't... I thought that that's what I did. Thindle is telling me we can move the whole 4.5 minute by tool build by removing this, right? Which is what I did. Okay, so I would like to run this on remove Maui project. That's what this branch is for, this remove Maui project branch. And so if we look at it and we look at the file, then we can see that the Maui tool build, it is supposed to take 4.5 minutes. But this thing here adds another 4.5 minutes. And then the Maui build on top of that, when we're doing the regular build, adds another 4-ish minutes. So it's a total of 15-minute run. Now it's down to 5-minute run or so, is what my guesstimate is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the last thing that we do for today. And then, yeah, I mean, like for me, even in my work product, because our builds take an hour, I just pick up the next work item that I have and start working on it from main. So like what I would do here is I just finished the fixed table overlap issue, number 17. I would create the PR for it and then wait for the other PRs to get reviewed and approved and then update main and then have the pipeline run for it. Then while I'm waiting for that, I would pick up my next issue. And in this case, it's going to be filter transaction history, but it's too late in the stream. I'm about to quit in like 7 minutes. So instead, we're just going to build these last two. And speaking of, I can go ahead and do the PR for this. No. How how did you not get the changes? Like it says that I did the push, but the changes are still there. Let me rebuild. Let me make sure that the SAS compiled. And also thank you so much for the follow, Jake. Jake Oxide. Oh, I love these. I love these. The number one programmer excuse for legitimately slacking off. My code's compiling. Hey, get back to work. Compiling. Carry on. Yeah, I'm not like that. I pick up the next thing as quickly as possible. Except, you are right. One of the code reviews that I have to do right now, or that I was working on before I started the stream and during the meeting, um, it has that situation where we have the shared packages that has a change that the main application depends on. And if we push the shared packages changes before or only is what I mean, then the rest of the builds will break from then on until we also push the main application. So I need to switch to the same branch in two different Visual Studio. Well, not really two different, but I just need to switch to that branch in the shared packages, rebuild completely, which there is a lot to our build process. And like we have to manually build three separate solutions before we can build our main project solution and run it, even on our dev machine. And the first two builds take 30 seconds or so. The last build takes 5 minutes. It's so annoying. And it's like, can't we just make them into versioned NuGet packages and then just be able to reference those in our main project? And we kind of are, but not really. My commits are more like, maybe this fixes it? Question mark. I love it. I think a third of my commits are FFS. I forgot to save my project file. Yep, and that's what this is. Um, applied changes to, unless I didn't actually, yeah, this is the remove Maui project. I didn't actually commit this one yet. That's what happened. Applied changes to put tab tatter on top of other elements. Very met. That could have probably just been worded something along the lines of increase set index because you know the file that's being affected and you can see what exactly I changed. Okay, so anyway, this one is actually going to be associated with the project directly. And we're also going to say fixes number 18, was it? 17, was it? And that way, when we create the pull request, it will be associated with that issue. And there it is. Immediately associated with the issue. Issue. I love that. I love that so much. Okay. This one, I am again going to cancel the pipeline because it's going to need to run again. I don't know if it needs to run again. We'll find out. Which one of you guys was the removed Maui? I've already lost the other one. No, why are you saying it failed? Because it was canceled. But then which one is running? Hi, Abitus. You'll make it for Community Day? Awesome. So, for those of you that don't know what Habitus is talking about, on Fridays I typically have a Community Day stream where I open up the Discord voice channel for anyone that wants to discuss technology type topics using your beautiful voice. Your voice will come through on the stream, we'll talk, and not only will it come through on the stream, but it will also be recorded and be posted to YouTube as the recording of this video. Speaking of that, I normally will have this video recording posted to YouTube no sooner than 24 hours after we end the stream. Oh, no, not at all. No, there is no surprise. It's a weekly event. It happens every Friday. I have no idea what happened to this build, but I'll just keep my eye on it and find out why it got canceled. I have no idea why it got canceled, but we'll get the Maui build in there, and we will also get the other change merged, but we'll do that on Friday. So I will go up to this screen here. Thank you, Dukasoft, for posting that link. But yeah, it was definitely a fun time working on those, and thank you, Thendo, for contributing the YAML pipeline. They take forever to debug, he says. Dukasoft put up the message for where the YouTube channel is. You can see all of our past streams for this project on YouTube's on that channel. Don't expect anything special. It's just the stream. And there are a lot of times when we don't actually work on the project and we just do other things. But it's still there. My mobile studio just ran out of power. Only 2 hours. 2 hours of battery life. That's fun. But oh, that's fun. That's really fun. But that's going to be it for me for today. I don't know. Oh, my mobile studio. So it's a Wacom product. Wacom. Wacom. However you pronounce it. It's I love it. It's mobile and it's powerful and it's a tablet PC. It's flat. And it can run a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. I actually played Lineage 2 on it with our local server. But anyway, besides the point. I'm checking out now. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll be around on Discord, so feel free to hop into our Discord if you want. We have a lot of really, really cool people there, such as in Thindle, Dukasoft, Abadis, all these guys. They're great peoples. So yeah, feel free to join, ask questions, share things that you want to share in there. We have lots of sharing pages, and that's it. I'm gonna get back to reviewing these PRs, and yeah, I'll talk with you all on the next time. Here goes the music. Here goes the microphone, and then video.